I land my plane with that, y'all.
Yeah, I agree with that. I answer the prompt real quick. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
that was good.
If you remember, kind of what I was talking about earlier, I was trying to do one thing. So when they say is the belief in God rational,
Mhm.
traditional belief of a creator God, to me, that's irrational. However, when I think about God in its most basic form, and I say, what is the mission that God really should do besides the intention? And that would be the reason for existence and the thing that sustains existence. To me, when people say God, I believe those are the two functions that they really looking for. All that other gibberish in between, it don't make sense to me. And that's why I re-identified what God should be. God should be whatever sustains, whatever is the reason for and sustains existence. But in my path to try to find that, found that there's functions and conditions that's going on. There's two of them, time and nature. Therefore, I can't call both of those God because that would violate the law of identity. Therefore, I have to, and functionally, time and nature does all the things that that intentional God that they propose is supposed to be in charge of. But how do I know that it's not in charge of time and nature? For the simple fact it would need time and has to have a nature and other nature to create with. Therefore, that belief in God is irrational. However, we still have to identify what is the reason for existence and what sustains it. And that's the reason that I call time God, nature goddess, and existence highest, because that kills all of the infinite regress.
Now we can most certainly agree on that part, right there. For God to exist, God would have to have had a nature. The fact that this being doesn't have a nature of reality attached to it or associated to it, may I say, is what let us know this thing does not exist.
Right. It's like that's the incoherent part of it. When you look at it naturally and logically with function, you see it. You see that it just can't even be possible. While we can imagine it, it can't be actualized.
No, that's a fact. Anybody else want to chime in? So
I'll
this
chime in. Shoot, I
is
usually don't, but I think atheism is the more logical position. I think belief in a God absent of evidence is irrational. I know people are going to say, "Well, what is evidence to you?" And then they're going to say things like, "This existence that we see is evidence." That's not evidence of a God. The existence is evidence of existence.
mhm,
Nothing more. It doesn't point to something in another dimension that created this. That's not what we see evidence of when we
fact.
see existence, or even if we look at um, what do they try to say? Divine design, or you know what I'm trying to say? How they
Yeah,
say
yeah.
everything is
Intelligent designer. Yeah.
intelligent design. I mean, I think that looking at this and seeing intelligent design is subjective.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Some people would say some things aren't as so smart. So that's a subjective thing. I don't know. I do agree that everything is working in cosmic balance for us to be here. But is that coincidence or was that intentional?
Mm.
You can't find that through the study of science. We haven't yet, I should say. And when we do, then we can address that claim and say that God is the more rational position. But as of yet, I don't think so.
No, that's facts. That's facts. And it's so interesting. So Unc earlier was excuse me, talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson. My bad, John. He was talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson. And he was Neil deGrasse Tyson has a segment about what his thoughts was about aliens coming to the planet Earth. And we know how intelligent we think we are as humans. Well, what if a chlorophyll life came to the planet Earth, how intelligent would you think they would think us to be? Because they will come to Earth and they see us eating lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers, and mind you, these are people that come from that stock, or these are beings that come from that stock. They'd think we are murderers. They'd think we're mortars. They'd get on their spaceships and leave like, yo, these people, we ain't coming back here. So just as the brother A1 was saying, the scale of how developed life is on this planet is most definitely subjective, because we haven't had anything outside of this planet to compare us to. And I think that's what would make finding life off of this planet so amazing and just so new, because now we'll literally have something other than something natural of Earth to compare us to. And so I agree with brother A1 right there.
Yep, I agree too. Especially that concept of God just don't fit.
Yeah. And let's be aware that, we know the concept of God changed over time, and this is why I bang on the Bible so hard, because this concept is not our concept. This is why earlier, again, I was on Unc panel, you was talking about African science versus European science. And the issue that I be having with Unc when he just talking about it's just science or it's just religion, or that when we go back to our roots, we know our people wasn't practicing this. They didn't know nothing about a Jesus. They didn't know nothing about a God, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They didn't know nothing about that. You see what I'm saying? Because that didn't come from our people. When we go study our people, right, they got a guy by the name of Herodotus, who they call a father of medicine, right? And if we stay in mainstream medicine, that's who we would know as the father of medicine.
What's that name again? What you say that name was? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
His name is Herodotus. Herodotus.
I think I'd have heard about him before.
Mm-hmm. But when we study him, guess what he say? He say the father of medicine, or he say he is the child of Imhotep, who was considered the real father of medicine, who came 2,000 years before he did, who's an African man, a man that lived in Kemet. So if we keep going to mainstream science, this is why I gotta give my man Unc some pushback, because if we keep going to mainstream science, we're gonna keep getting pointed to people who don't look like us. It's only when we do our own due diligence to go research these things do we find out that we got the first physician on the planet. We got the first surgeons on the planet. We got the first mathematicians on the planet. We got the first college professors and things of that nature on the planet. It ain't until we start studying who we are till we start finding those things out. And then people like to discredit that and say that's pseudo because the white Egyptologists or the white Africanologists, as we like to say, those people over there who like to study the land of Africa, saying something different. But they don't understand it. They're coming from a Western European mindset. You can't study an Eastern religion with a Western European mindset. You're going to displace it every time. And then you get mad at the people who's coming, putting it back in its proper context. That don't make no sense, man.
Right.
And
that's why I changed my concept of God. I went back to that basic God. Whatever is the reason for existence and what sustains it, to me, it's the only divinity. That's why I call it the quantum truth of the only divinity. The only divinity is whatever is the reason for existence and what sustains it. Nothing else.
Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting when you start studying cultures, right? So a lot of people have the impression that I only study African culture. They don't understand that I study a lot of different cultures. And the reason I study cultures for this reason that we're talking about now, this concept of God, right? This concept of primordial, omniscient energy, right? You got some people that call it chi, prana, tachyon energy, right? You got some people that call it the Tao Te Ching, right? So when you study these things and you study what they're speaking about these systems and functions, you realize all of these people are talking about the exact same thing. They're just putting it in
Right.
their own viewpoint.
Mm,
But they're all talking about the very substance that sustain all life.
right. That's what they trying
So
to
we know
describe. That they
it's
keep
not a
on.
lie. Go ahead, brother. My
My
apologies. Go
bad.
ahead. Get in
No,
there.
that's what I was just gonna say. That's what they keep trying to describe. That they keep putting in a skin. And they
Mhm.
giving intention instead of just saying, you know what, I don't need that intention, because that intention is that God they're looking for. When you don't even have to put that intention there in that function of what time and nature does, or what you say is nature, because when you say nature, you talking about the functions of time. So I understand what you were saying earlier, but that's the same thing that they trying to describe. They just putting an extra layer on it when they're giving it intention and saying creation.
Exactly. And it's so interesting, brother, because you say something called form, right? I use
Hmm.
the word manifestation. And so the reason I use the word manifestation is because I realized that description or that definition fits the experience that I witnessed on the planet better than the word creation.
Right.
When
And
we
that's why I
say
say,
creation, we're meaning to create something new, to bring into being something new. But when we're witnessing manifestation, we're witnessing being, right, manifest from one level of existence to another. When we plant a seed in the ground, right, we're literally observing that seed transmute from something basic in structure to something complex
right.
in nature. So that's manifestation, right?
Hmm.
And we even go through it in our lives. See, this is what I'm talking about. Now we're demystifying the spookism
Hmm.
because we manifest in our daily lives. Things grow. We watch it. We have children, right? Some of us go to college, right? Some of us are in the video games. We see the progression there. See, we see these things in our life all the time. It's only on Sunday do we choose to spookify everything that goes on in our life.
Hmm. And that's I agree with that too. It's like you said, I say form and structure, constraint, but you mean the same thing when you say manifest, because what we both know is that everything that's in existence has always been here. And so I say existence is a morphogenic process. When I say that existence is ongoing, it's morphogenesis. If you look at it, that's the thing that you say. We see it every day. If you think about a baby in a mama's room, you got that sperm and you got that egg. They do the first thing. When that sperm hit that egg automatically goes into a process that blocks all the other sperm from going in there. That's what I talk about when I say proto recognition and proto awareness. The things that it does to be. That vector to be is that thing that they trying to say is intention. It ain't intention, it's just to be. That's what everything is. When you was talking about the birds and
Mhm.
the bees earlier, they just know that they need to be for as long as they can, because this is the opportunity that's been provided when you get here. So what else should you do and try to find but be? And so with that being said, and that's why I say it's morphogenic, because earlier, if you remember, when I was doing my little old alley, a person asked
Check the
me,
private chat. Go
I
ahead,
got
though.
you.
You got the
a,
floor, Connor.
a person asked me about what was time and nature doing, how was they for, and I said that time and nature has always been in different phases, states, and forms. That's morphogenesis. Just like you as a sperm go to the egg and then you morph into a zygote, I think is the next, then an embryo, then a baby. Like morphogenesis is shown through the entire existence of what we see, like you said. And this is what we see. So I'm going with formation instead of creation. And that knocks off
I
all
got
of
you,
that.
brother. Go ahead. You good?
That knocks off all that.
Okay. Yeah, and that's facts, right? So let's we was earlier we was talking about the difference between the brain and the mind, right? Let's get
Hmm.
into this real quick. So you was talking about the sperm and the egg, right?
Hmm.
Well, When we're dealing with the sperm coming from the male, we don't understand that. Again, let's get back onto that birth. Let's get back to that baby. All births are thought form first. Why? How we know this? We know this because we know the sperm come down from the brain, come down the tube, come down the come down your spinal column, come out your head, go right up in the lady, right?
Bam.
Now, when on the moment of conception, right, there's a spark. Science have proved this, that there's a light. Scientists call this the first light. And sometimes they equate this first light to the Big Bang, which means what they are saying in their terms is this is the first light of the universe. And so we have to understand that as above, so below, as within, so without. So when we looking at it like that, we know that when you looking at it, we was talking about atoms earlier, right? Number one, I'm gonna give y'all a little hint real quick. Physics got the atomic structure wrong. So when y'all go study the atomic structure, y'all realize how, it's not made of particles and things, is made of actual strings,
yes,
functions and waves. Right. This is why earlier I said, well, energy. See, here's the thing. We was talking about this earlier, right? The presupposition to what we call creation or manifestation or formation, right? The presupposition have to be energy. Now, why I keep saying this? I keep saying this because we can say all of these other things was whatever word we want to put, but energy was always here. There was nothing that created that. So now how do we get to a point in reality where we have something that was never created? What do we do? That really breaks our brain for real. It breaks our frame of relativity on what life is. Because when we see life, we always see life coming into being. Now we have this aspect of life that's in everything. But this aspect of life never came into being. And it will never go out of being. But from our everyday perspective, everybody on this panel, from our everyday perspective, we witness birth and transition on an everyday cycle, 24/7, 365 days out the year.
Fact.
Somebody is transitioning, something is transitioning, something is turning from a tree to a log, getting cut down. It's all a cycle.
All a cycle. And that's why I say that's why I said atheism, naturalism, they all on the same thing I'm on. My only other thing is that mechanism to be, which is caused by the interaction of time and nature. And they had to be in different phases and forms, just like we talking about the sperm and the egg. That's why I say, and you was talking about it earlier, as above, so below, as within. And that's why I say it's the fractal. It's the fractals that interaction of time and nature do. We see it with our father and our mother. That's why I call them Father Time and Mother Nature, because I see it with my father and my mother, and then I see what time and nature provides is existence. What my mother and my father provided was an existence within existence, which is me. I'm talking about, so, and that's why I told you earlier, or I don't know if I said it in the US and stuff, I propose some scientific theories about the soul, and where to look for it at within a quark and a quanta that's moving around just like time and nature. Because if I know that time and nature has always been, and then they came to what they say is the Big Bang, which is actually just the observable universe, because it could break down into fractals of what it was doing and sustain itself, then I know that's the same mechanism that's going on within me that's making me be right now. There's a quark, which is nature, and there's a quantum, which is the smallest thing of energy that you talk about. And they generate the mind, they generate the body, and this is what we use. We use the mind as a software to control the body, which is the hardware. There we go, right there. Just time, nature, and existence. And like you said, as above, so below, as within, so without. And we see it right here every day. For some reason, that's why I say I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it. That's why I say I can't not call Father Time and Mother Nature my God and my goddess functionally. I
Now,
can't.
here's the, if I may, brother, watch this. Here's the importance of being a practitioner of life, because I'm able to step out of the academic realm and grasp the concepts that you're talking about, right?
Mhm.
Although I may have other terminologies for them, right?
Correct.
I consider mind, body, spirit, right? I understand that we are spiritual divine beings having a divine human experience. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. No, 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 no. It's the other way around. And so once we understand that the same thing that's in us substance wise, it's the same thing that's out there substance wise, then there's nothing else. I'm me personally, I might say for a scholastic purpose, I might say mind, body, and energy.
Hmm.
But energy and the spirit is not different things. They're the same thing. The
Hmm.
ocean and this bottle of water in the ocean are the same thing. It's
Hmm.
just the water in here is in a bottle and the water out there is uncontained. So that's the proper way of looking at energy and spirit. We
Yeah.
don't look at energy and spirit as something different. Energy is spirit. It's just that this vessel has energy, and out in the ether there's energy. And so we see that energy emerge. We was talking about emergence earlier, right? When
Hmm.
we observe life and we observe the function of energy, because that's all we really observing is the function of the rapid vibratorial change of energy. That's
The
all that's
the
changing.
work, the work, like I yep, the work.
So when we observing this, right? Um, what we are really observing is life emerging in different
Mm.
facets.
Yes.
It's all life, it's just emerging in different facets. And that's what happened when we have something called environmental conditioning, right?
Can
If you take a apple seed and you go to the mountain of the Himalayas and you grow that apple seed, and then you take another that that apple seed, you go to Florida and you grow the apple seed, both are going to grow an apple. They might have slightly different traits and they might come up slightly different colors and things of that nature, but that's because of the environment and the soil that had an influence on it. See, we have to understand that I'm gonna use the word influence for academic purposes.
hmm
But in other words, we also could use the word manipulation, right?
hmm
So um everything has an influence on everything else.
right. And it has to, because if you don't recognize what is around you and in front of you, especially in your immediate environment, then you ain't gonna have any coherent thoughts or anything. So that's why I was talking about time and nature, and where you was talking about that mechanism of how it breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing. I applaud you for being able to step outside and understand exactly what I'm talking about,
Oh
because
yeah.
that's what I see. Even though we calling it different things,
Yeah.
because to me that energy that you see in the spirit, I believe it's only one spirit, and that's the spirit of the universe. That thing called space. The reason I say that is because of this right here. Our souls is the small version, the micro version of the spirit, the only spirit, because the universe is the only of its kind. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we detach from this body, we travel the spirit of the universe to the end to drop off our experience. This is why it seems that things are popping in and out of existence. Those are just possibilities to make existence better, because we take our experiences to the end of the universe. This is the vector to be that I was talking about. I don't like talking about this a lot, but I can talk about it with you because I know you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
And that's where the soul is, and that's the spirit. The only spirit is the spirit of the universe. We are micro versions, and that's the soul. We travel the spirit for our or what I say our vector to be, but you can say our purpose.
Mm-hmm. In other words, if I'm allowed to break it down, there's a such thing as dimensions,
Hmm.
right? We talk about them here and there. You know, I don't know if a lot of people study them and get into them like I do, but you know, I could see the brother Quantum does, right? But when we're dealing with dimensions, right? These are the cosmos that we are traveling from, right? What I was saying earlier, as above, so below, as within, so without, right?
Hmm.
So just like there's this, like just like this dimension have a plane of existence. There's higher planes of existence. There's lower planes of existence.
Hmm.
Now, the plane of existence you choose to go to is the plane of existence you choose to attract. See, here's the thing. Things don't happen to us. Mind y'all, earlier I was talking about everything have an influence on everything else. Things don't happen to us, we attract them. And so when we sleep and we have a nightmare, oh, I had a nightmare. No, you didn't have a nightmare. You attracted negative energy while you were unconscious in this realm and conscious in another one. See, the difference between this realm and that realm is whatever we think about happen instantaneously. Right here, you know, we think about something, but just like Quantum keep pointing out, we are hindered by time. So we have to go through the cycles of time, no matter how much we think about it, right? Is it going to manifest the more you think about it? But we are hindered by time. In that realm, there is no hindrance by time. Whatever you think about manifests instantaneously. So again, when y'all go, y'all had them these dreams and things of that nature, and y'all have nightmares, and you know, that's because all right, most definitely, brother, we sitting here still chopping it up.
Bet we hear.
But when you had a nightmare, that's because you attracted negative things. You was thinking about negative things. So the goal is to um reappropriate your situational awareness so that you only align with things that are beneficial with you,
Right.
no matter what.
That no doubt. That's it right there.
Mhm,
If you align with the purpose to be of time and nature and try to be comfortable without impeding on anybody else's comfortability, you great. Like
mhm,
we'll be great.
mhm. You know, it doesn't matter what system you follow and how high you get, or you know how spiritual you are. As long as you're following something that benefits you, that put you and your surrounding members in a better position, right? That's why I gotta keep pointing this out. That's why gotta keep giving Unc some pushback, man, because you know it's brothers out here that look like us that want us to forget about what happened to us.
Mhm.
They want us to forget about what we're going through today. They want us to forget about what we was going through yesterday. You know, and they want to just say, well, let's move on to tomorrow, man. That ain't about nothing. No, no, that is about something. Because we got people that died for that. Or unalived. I apologize. Y'all. But we got people who was unalive for that, man. And we need to make that be. And it's Black History Month.
Man,
Did I not mention? And it's Black History Month, man. We can't be out here talking about, man, we don't want to follow the ancestors on Black History Month. You know, so these are things that as individuals we have to think about, but also as a collective we have to come to the table and actually talk about, is these things important, which I will argue these things are very important. The
mhm.
way another society, let's take race, because I know a lot of people talking about the race, and let's take race out of it. Let's just talk about society. We are a melanated society. The way other societies look at the melanated society is important to me. The reason is because when I go out here to get a job, or when I go out here to meet with a CEO, or when I go out here to do whatever I'm going out here to do, their outlook is going to determine if they want to work with me or not. I don't know if y'all ever experienced this at y'all workplaces, but I've most definitely experienced discrimination, racial discrimination at my workplace. Right? Oh, you can't come. Got a belt that say Black Power. You can't come in here with that belt on. He an Italian dude. So you don't want me to be proud of who I am because you are not proud of who you are. You not good with who expressing who you are, so you don't want me to express who I am. That's crazy. So we gotta, man, listen, we gotta keep drawing attention to that. And until and people be asking, when is enough enough? Enough is enough when we get our due. And I ain't strictly talking about money, reparations, or things of that nature. Nah. I'm talking about when my man Terrence Howard can come out here with 97 patents and let the world know that I invented transgenital flight. And instead of everybody writing them off like they crazy, right? He get a fair opportunity like Elon Musk. Who was Elon Musk before he started SpaceX? Nobody. We don't know this man. This man came out, oh, I'm going to put share stocks and this and that. And now this man can go to Mars anytime he wants. But here we got a brilliant mind in the man by the name of Terrence Howard. We seen this man on movies on a big screen. Hustle and Flow. Come on now. Y'all got to remember Hustle and Flow. And then this man come out and say, bro, I used this pattern, which we all know the flower of life. If you're not studied in the flower of life, please do your due diligence and get studied in the pattern of the flower of life, right?
Yes.
Everything this brother is talking about, everything I'm talking about, when we're talking about putting this on paper and seeing it unfold in front of your eyes, that's what this pattern does. Everything in existence, this comes from this pattern. Just how I say all science and mathematics come from Africa, right? Every musical note, every light wave, every geometric structure come out of this pattern. Now I know people gonna try to come and, oh well, you know that's that pseudoscience and da 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 da. Well, go ask the people that study physics. Go ask the people that's in algebra. Go ask the people that study geometry. Go ask the professors in geometry that are literally writing or reconstructing universes with a simple equation. And what do the simple equation do? The simple equation just makes circles. So
Spirals.
there you go. So I would, encourage people to go do their due diligence on the tree of life. That's go ahead, brother. Go ahead, get it in there, Quantum.
Yeah, sure. You landed out. That was right, especially that flower of life and the tree of life. Have you ever seen that? You were talking about dimensions a while ago. We kind of got the same thing. My dimensions to me come in the perception of what size you is. Earlier, I was talking to somebody and they was talking about how universes look like they out of order. And I told them it's just that scale. If we could look at it at a different scale, I guarantee you it wouldn't be chaos the way that he thinking it is. It's just all in the different dimensions of your perception when it comes to that. Have you seen that flower of life in a 3D perception?
Yeah.
That
Most
motherfucker is amazing, man.
yeah.
I'm talking about you can't beat it and you see. And that's why I say that, and that's why I had that mechanism of time and nature, because I see for that flower to do like it did, those things that like needed time to form those patterns so everything else can lay up on that pattern. This is that mechanism of proto recognition and awareness that I be talking about. And I'm gonna have to get it more. It's that vector to be that I say downstream our consciousness and the way that we interact with nature in this form is just a different, like you said, a different emergence of the universe recognizing itself. That's
Exactly.
all we are. We just a different pattern, recognizing another stable pattern. So with me knowing that, and like you said, the flower of life, that's all you got to do. And I think like I said, I know we have the same views. I think the only thing, and I think you noticed it too, is I put a category for time in there, because if I don't, it'll change, like I said, the identity property when it comes to time, and then also it does a different job than nature. It's like that's why I say they co-present at all times. If there's time somewhere, there's definitely nature. If there's nature somewhere, there's definitely time, and you can't do with that, because
Mm-hmm.
this is what I do know. Time is the evidence of nature. Nature is the evidence of time. How is that possible? It's because of the structure or whatever nature provides. As it changes, it's using that mechanism that is provided by time. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, time and nature, and that's why I say, like, and like you said it earlier, that even that idea of God that they proposed, while it was good at some time, I think it was simply the people who was trying to portray what they were trying to explain just didn't have the right mechanisms and the right words to say. So they personified the things that was going on because that was easier for them. I don't think they did it on purpose. Now, later on down the line, when people started seeing that they could use it for power, oh yeah, they definitely like formed it into a power mechanism. Like you were saying, when you go back to the beginning of what we was trying to find out when we was looking for that thing that they call God, that condition, that mechanism, that substance, that whatever, you know what I'm saying, was it was that thing that we said, the
Yeah.
reason for existence and what sustains existence. And so we must find that. And then, like I said, in my view, found that I know atheists don't like to say it, but I found the same thing they did. It's just I identify those things as God and Goddess because nothing can do without those things. And that's the mechanism of uh, being, of existing. You need
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
mechanism. So,
And so, um, even on that notion, right? I know you use time and nature. I myself would say time and space or space time.
mhm.
And we understand that those are relative acting with one another, right? You can't have space without time. You can't have time without space, right? Um, Another interesting fact about that is wherever there is time, space is expanding.
Right. It has no other choice.
You know, it's hold on one sec. I think I just got what's going on? Is he up here? I don't think. Hey, A1, you know Jose Francis?
Yeah, Jose good.
Okay.
I was lucky. I wanted to see what you was gonna do. That's why I
Oh
let you
yeah.
got the.
What up, Jose?
What's up? What's up?
What up, Jose?
What's
How
up?
you doing, brother? You want to
are you
add something to the conversation?
are you aware that the flower of life was discovered in ancient Kemet?
Of course, brother.
Hmm.
Of course.
And I know you would be aware that they had an astronomical ceiling that was blasted out and taken by the man that they say what's his name? The little French dude, Napoleon.
Napoleon. Yeah.
And if you and I don't know where you're living, but if you ever get a chance to go to the Metropolitan Museum, they have what they call a sarcophagus of the last Kemetic priest that has all sort of astrology engraved in it.
Right.
And the
Right.
If you
sarcophagus.
if you ever get an opportunity to pass through New York,
Hmm.
you must let one of them brothers, either Jabari or Reggie, give you a tour of the Metropolitan Museum.
Almost
They have
definitely.
a nice, they have a very nice Kemetic section. They have a lot of Shakti and all of these things. So if you ever get a chance to pass through, you must go to the Metropolitan Museum and make sure you get a nice guide, maybe Reggie or Jabari.
Most definitely. That's one of my goals, man. That's one of my goals over there is to actually go down, be able to go down there on a tour, you know, to a Metropolitan Museum. I actually was just watching Brother Jabari talk about a tour that him and a group of people was doing this year. That's one of my goals, man. I want to be on one of them tours in Kemet. I actually want to go to the museums and see what they're talking about. You know, right now, and I classify myself as a researcher, but to evolve into my scholastic, to evolve into my scholastic self, I want to be someone who actually had boots on the ground, who actually went and seen for myself.
Yeah.
Me researching about this stuff is amazing, but I'm realizing now that I gotta go see this stuff.
And you see, you have a group that you can pool your finances, learn the language, go on tour, and do these different things together. You need to encourage some of the old heads.
You, Harris. We appreciate you. If I can really fast, I just want to shout out the comment. It say, Harris Duncan, this is much needed, valuable information. Fire, fire, fire. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Just like my brother A1 said, you know, hey, we thrive off of your support. We thrive off of you watching. You know, I know because I was once a viewer who was wishing I can get up here. Now I'm up here, man. And in reality, a dream has literally came true. That's so crazy. But I appreciate brother A1.
You got to jump in the ring, huh? You got to get some debates.
Oh, that's what I'm here for. Listen, I told A1 that's what I'm here for.
And you need to, and what you should do, you need to challenge A1 to a debate, man.
I got a debate coming up actually Saturday. I'm gonna run the ad for that real quick, and I got a debate for you, Humble. I just hadn't been able to talk to you about it. So later today we gonna build on that. It's somebody you was calling out actually. We're about to make that happen over here.
What is it? What is your debate topic, A1?
My debate topic. Oh, here you go.
Oh, it's going down. This Valentine's Day, don't forget roses and chocolates. We're bringing you raw, unfiltered debate action inside the Coliseum of arguments. In one corner, smooth, fearless, and ready to shake the table. Suave boss stepping in with the affirmative, daring to defend the claim that white people come from albinos. And across the arena, not just a competitor, but the owner of the league, a battle-tested veteran, the man who built the proving ground itself.